welcome back! Today is the Chic for Cheap DIY challenge, so let's go to the craft room and get started! Alright, we're going to take a few of these bowls from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 2-pack. And we're going to cut those apart and take the tags off. And I'm going to use my E6000 Quick Hold. You can also use regular E6000 or just hot glue if you wanted. I just prefer the Quick Hold, and then I also add in a little bit of hot glue just to kind of get that quick, instant hold. And then the Quick Hold stuff, it dries pretty quick, usually within like 20 minutes or so. And I make sure not to overlap the glue. I put a little bit of the Quick Hold in one spot and then I skip a spot for the hot glue. It seems to stick better that way. And then here I'm going back in the little crease and I'm just adding some more hot glue just because there wasn't a lot of surface area to glue onto. So I wanted to make sure it really stuck together. Now this will help once we put our rope on, it will kind of seal it all together better. But I just thought for the meantime, let's get it to stick really well. So you're going to stick the two together with the lid part together and then the next two, the bottoms together. And now I'm going to take some of my nautical rope from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut off the tape that's on the end. You could also just pull the tape off, but I just cut it just because it was quicker. And then I'm going to start sticking it down, making sure to get it really level across the bottom. That way it's not sitting, you know, cattywampus or anything. And I'm going to continue gluing. I continue to glue all over the entire thing. You would not have to do that. I just preferred to because I wanted it to be stuck together really well. I wanted it to be good and strong because I loved the shape that this created and I can't ever find a vase in this shape. So I wanted it to be a piece that I'm going to use for years to come, so that's why I did that. Like I said, once you get it started, you don't have to glue every single level. I would glue at least the first round or two, and then I would glue probably at every seam that you come to where you've glued the bowls together. And then again, the last maybe row or row and a half at the top. But that's just personal preference, so whatever floats your boat. And I am going to speed this up so that you don't have to watch me glue and glue and glue. And then I will cut out parts that's just a repeat. So I'm just continuing to do the same part. If it's a part that's cut out, I'm just continuing to do the same thing over and over. Just make sure right here where you're going to that second level, try to get it to lay as flat as possible. And that way you've got a nice seam on the back side. Which, like I said, you're not going to see this side because I'm going to have it up against the wall, but that way it gives it a little bit higher end appearance. If we could only work this fast in real life, huh? And then I wanted to show you kind of every time that I put a new piece of rope on there, I kind of cut each end at an angle, and that makes it lay just a little bit flatter. So just as kind of a little tip. And here I'm going to slow it back down just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'm going to kind of cut this last piece at an angle, and then the next piece that I'm putting on there, I'm going to cut at an angle, and they just kind of mold together, if that makes sense. And I hope you guys are enjoying this new challenge that I've created. Don't forget, I'm going to do this every month, and it will be on the first Monday of the month, and we will upload at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this rope, you could pull it apart into 3 separate strands so that your rope goes a lot farther. I just wanted that big chunky rope look to it. So again, it's personal preference, and you know, you do what makes your heart happy. So if you want the little skinny rope, if you want just regular jute twine, you do that. This was just the look I was going for, so that's why I did it this way. It would be more cost effective though if you used either jute twine or pulled the rope apart into the 3 individual pieces. But again, I said I was gonna keep this in my home for many years, so that's why I didn't care to spend just a little bit more. And this one, I know I said for the Chic for Cheap DIY challenge that we need to get inspiration from somewhere and kind of tell what the inspiration cost. This one, because it's a little different, I couldn't really find anything that was exactly the same. Yes, I got inspiration from Pinterest and Etsy, but I couldn't find anything exactly the same, so I'm cheating on this one. Here I am just burning off all of the little stray pieces of rope. You know how it has all those little fuzzies? If you go through with a lighter and make sure you have some water close, just in case you catch something on fire. Here I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in ink, and I'm just going to do a little bit of black, just kind of for a little bit of pop of color. And with this thicker rope, it's pretty easy to keep a straight line just because the rope, you can kind of go along the little indentation. And I go ahead and paint the inside of the bowl as well, just so you don't see that rope from the outside, you know. And then I'm going to put some greenery in it and show you guys the finished product. What do you think? I love it. I love the shape. It's so like boho chic. I love it. I just put a little lamb's ear in it, and that's all I did. You could do any kind of greenery. You could put whatever you want in it. And this month, the Chic for Cheap DIY Challenge co-host is Maria over at Crafting with Maria. I want to give a big shout out to Maria for being my first official co-host. If you guys haven't ever checked out her channel, go check it out. She does the cutest farmhouse DIYs. Thank you, Maria. Now we're going to go on to our next DIY, and I'm going to take these little boxes from the Dollar Tree Crafter Squares section. I used 15 of them. And then I ordered these little handles off of Amazon. I think you get like 20 for about $10. And I'm going to take all of these apart, and I'm going to kind of go through, and a lot of them are a different size. You know, with Dollar Tree you don't get quality. So I just kind of arrange them so that the rows are going to line up as nice as possible. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to take my little carpenter square from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take my wood glue that's also from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use a little bit of hot glue just to get that quick hold, and then the wood glue will give us the strength. My mouth's not working today. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to glue them all together, and I'm doing them face down so that the front will line up as nice as possible. I want the front to be nice and flat and not have any parts that are sticking out. I would rather that be on the back side, and that's why I'm doing it this way. And I'm just going to continue gluing these together. And as I'm going along, I'm pushing down to make sure they're going to be really flat against the front. Like I said, I was more worried about the front being flat and nice and even. So, and then once I get them all glued, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to put some of the clips from the Dollar Tree, and that's just to kind of hold it while that wood glue has a chance to set up. You probably wouldn't have to do this since we put the hot glue on there, but I'm just showing you what I did. Like I said, crafting is you do what makes you happy. If you don't want to clip, you don't clip, girl or boy. And now I'm going to go through, I'm going to put all of those face down, and I'm going to start staining. I'm going to use some Waverly, the antiquing wax, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of water, and that's what I'm going to use as my stain. I'm going to go through and brush it all on, and then I go back with a paper towel and just kind of wipe off any of the excess, and it gives such a pretty color. I actually prefer it over most wood stain anyway, so that's why I use it. Plus it dries so much quicker. One thing I did not do was the inside of these boxes, and I will probably go back and do the inside of the boxes. I did do the inside of the actual like holder part, if that makes sense, the outside part of the box, but I didn't do the inside of the actual drawer per se, so I will probably go back and do that. And then I'm going to put this on my desk just to hold like all those little things that you don't really have a place for, you know, paper clips or rubber bands or thumbtacks, just whatever. When we do go back and put them in the little drawer holder, we're going to put them in backwards so that the flower will be against the back inside part of the drawer and you won't see it, so it will be this adorable little apothecary cabinet. I hope I'm saying that right. That's the way I've always heard it said, but you know, I'm also a little bit of a hillbilly from Arkansas, so. I'm just going to continue staining. I will not make you sit here and watch me stain every single one of these. I will cut that out for you. So I went ahead and showed you on that one how I do all of them, and then I'm going to go through and do the actual drawer holder part. I do stain the entire thing, front, back, inside, and everything. That's just in case I ever want to sit it on my desk on the edge that isn't against the wall. Again, that's personal preference. If you don't want to do that, you don't do that. And here I'm going to show you the little screws that came with the handles were too long. They would have poked through. So I took my little bolt cutter things there and I nipped off just the head of the screw, and I stick it in the little hole, and then I hot glue it from the back side so that it's stuck in there. And that way it looks like I've screwed it on, but I didn't. I just hot glued it. And here I'm going to show you how I got all of them pretty level. I took one of the handles and I flipped it upside down and made it even with the top, and that way all of them were the same distance from the top of the drawer. And you could make a template if you wanted to so that all of them were the same. I just didn't because, you know, I'm lazy sometimes, so. And then hot glue it down. And then if there's any glue that oozes out, you can take your X-Acto knife and kind of cut, since it's got that wood that's pretty sturdy, you can kind of cut and then pull it off. And then for the drawers, I'm showing you a few of these because when I go to put them in the drawer holder, because again it's Dollar Tree and it's not super great quality, some of them don't fit in some of the little holders very well, so I would move them around until it fit in a spot really well. And that way all of them, you know, none of them were like too tight and hard to pull out or anything, you know, since you did just hot glue that on, so. And then you're going to see the finished product. You guys, how cute is this? I have seen a couple of other YouTubers create one of these, and I have been dying to do it. So I have been stocking up on those little boxes. So, and then here is where I got some of my inspiration. I kind of went and Googled to see how much these were. Look how expensive those are. Alright, now we are going to go on to a little welcome wreath, and I'm using an embroidery hoop, and I just got that at Hobby Lobby half off. I think it was like $1.10. Any floral or greenery that you want, you wouldn't have to use that if you wanted more of a simple effect. And then I'm taking that piece of fabric over there is actually one of my Dollar Tree canvases that I kept the frame and used it for something else, but I didn't use the actual fabric part. So reuse that. I'm kind of holding it up there to see, I'm going to use it across the diagonal so I've got enough fabric to reach across, and then I'm just going to cut around my welcome sign. That welcome sign is from the Dollar Tree it comes with like a welcome, thankful, and harvest, I believe are the 3 words that come in there, and it's just like a metal sign, and you get 3 of them for $1. Like, you can't beat that. That's awesome price. So now I'm going in with that same Waverly antiquing wax and staining my hoop. I fast forwarded through this because I mean you know how to stain, you've seen me do it other times, so I didn't figure you needed to actually watch that in slow motion. Now I'm going to take some hot glue on the back of my welcome sign, and I'm going to flip it over onto that fabric. Just make sure you leave yourself enough fabric that you can put it in the hoop, and so you get it wherever you want it, and then you tighten up that little screw, and as you're doing that you kind of pull the fabric taut, and then I glue on the back side and kind of push it down, and then I trim off the excess, and it gets such a clean line, and look how cute it looks. And then the greenery part here, I'm just going to kind of fast forward. This is personal preference. I loved these orange coral flowers, so I just kind of put them up there. These are some I got at Hobby Lobby. You could also use some floral from the Dollar Tree. I actually do throw some floral in from the Dollar Tree. The white flowers that I put in there are from Dollar Tree, but I couldn't find anything like this, and I really wanted this look. And like I said, you just make it till your heart is happy. If you want one flower, if you want no flowers, if you just want lamb's ear, you do that. I just kind of kept playing with it until I was happy with how it looked, and you just keep putting some hot glue on, letting it dry for a minute, because otherwise your flowers will kind of start to sag. And here I'm just adding in some of the smaller little kind of orangey corally color flowers, and then I go and add some lamb's ear to the back just to kind of fill it in just a little. And how cute is this? So quick and easy. That is going to be so cute on my front door, you guys. You could probably use command strips to hang it, would be the best. So let me know what's your favorite. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. This has been so fun. This has been a dream of mine to start my own challenge. I always, joined in on other people's, and I thought, I really want to do this. So I want to thank each and every one of you guys for making this happen for me, because without you, this challenge wouldn't be anything. So thank you. And I also want to say a quick thank you to Maria for being my first